Let's talk about academic accommodations. Who are they for? How do you get them? And what do they do? Hi, my name is Lexi. I make social media content about disabilities, mental health awareness, and chronic illness. Now let's get into the video. When we're talking about who qualifies for academic accommodations, this is a wide umbrella, right? Anybody with a physical or psychiatric disability or both. When we're talking about physical disabilities, this could be anything like a chronic illness, POTS, EDS, arthritis, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, etc. When we're talking about psychiatric disabilities, this could be things like autism, ADHD, ADD, depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. Your accommodations depend on your access needs. It wouldn't make sense for somebody with anxiety to have a sign language interpreter or Braille alternative format textbooks. It all depends on your disability and your personal situation. Now, how do you actually get academic accommodations? I know that for some people, this can be a very challenging topic if they've never tried to do it themselves before. Your first step: go to the Disability Services office on your college campus. These people will be your best tool to get accommodations. It's usually located in your college's Student Services or Welcome Center. You can also find them online on your college's website. Simply tell them about your situation and explain that you're looking for academic accommodations. Figure out what process they go through to get these accommodations sorted. Some colleges may have you submit supporting documentation like a doctor's note or a diagnoses list from your hospital's electronic medical record. Now, don't just go in there once at the beginning of the semester to apply for accommodations. I would recommend going in every couple of weeks throughout the semester to update them on how school is going with these accommodations. Maybe you need to make some adjustments to different accommodations that you have. Or you can also ask, for students that have similar diagnoses as you, what accommodations benefit them? You do not have to struggle in silence. Keep these people updated. They are your best resource on college campuses. Let's talk about examples of academic accommodations. This can be things like extended time on tests. Another accommodation that I find helpful is alternative format. When I'm in a flare, I simply cannot read. Part of my condition affects pupil dilation. If one pupil is huge and the other one is not, it's very hard and painful to try to read. This is where alternative format textbooks come into play. Your college may provide an audio version textbook of any required textbook that you have purchased that semester. If your illness is unpredictable and you could go into a flare at any time or be in the hospital, otherwise unable to make it to class, you may benefit from attendance consideration. This means days that you miss cannot count against you. However, this is not a free pass to just miss every single class because you didn't feel like going. There's also priority registration, which means that you will be able to register for your classes first, and then the general population can register. This can be helpful to individuals who may not be available for certain parts of the day. For example, if you have physical therapy 3 times a week, but it's always in the morning, you may benefit from only afternoon or evening classes. However, those classes may fill up fast. So if you have priority registration, you will be able to register for those classes that work for you before they fill up. One accommodation that's super helpful to me is something called assistive technology. This is a wide umbrella of things. However, the one that I benefit from is something called a screen reader. This means that I will highlight a certain portion of the text on the screen and it reads it aloud to me. Another type of assistive technology is something called speech to text. This means that if I'm having really bad joint pain in my hands, I can simply speak out loud what I'm trying to type and it will type it for me. However, most of those speech-to-text tools aren't 100% reliable. I would definitely recommend double checking everything, whether that's spelling, grammar, or punctuation. Other accommodation examples can be things like a sign language interpreter, being able to test in a quiet environment, flexible due dates in case of hospitalization or infusion therapy. If you have in-person classes and you may frequently need to leave the classroom for medical purposes, you may benefit from having preferential seating. This means being able to sit wherever is best for you. If you're leaving the classroom a lot, it may be best for you to sit in the front row closest to the door. Many colleges also offer note-taking services. If you have a diagnosis like ADHD, autism, or you're hard of hearing, a note-taker might be super helpful to you. These are usually done anonymously by somebody else in your class. Remember, your disability services team at your college is there to help you succeed, but they won't know if you need help if you don't tell them. That's why it is super important to advocate for yourself and understand the laws about accommodations. Now, let's talk about some tips for students who are disabled navigating high school or college. I have always been one of the biggest advocates for myself with my disability. At the beginning of every semester, I personally email my professors an introductory letter that explains I'm a student in their class, I have this disability, and these are the accommodations that I require. I let them know that I'm working with the Disability Services Office on my college campus and what they can expect from me as a student. This opens a line of communication that will be vital throughout the semester. Your teachers will not be able to help you if they don't know what's going on. Although all professors should know about laws that pertain to disabilities seeking education, sometimes they don't. And this is why it is so important for you to understand the laws that protect you as a disabled student and know how to advocate for them. There are 3 main laws that protect disabled students in America. The first one is the IDEA Act, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The second one is the Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. And the third one is Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I will put links in the description box to help you check out resources to learn more about those. Another tip that I have is finding an accessible route to your classes. This may mean taking a different hallway than most people or finding where the elevators are in your school. On top of this, try to find an accessible bathroom that's close to each of your classes. Now, let's talk about transportation. Many colleges offer a free shuttle service. Now, because this service is offered to the general public, disabled students have equal access to use those. This may mean that the shuttle service has a ramp to get on or priority seating on the bus for people with disabilities. Many cities in the US will allow students to either get bus tickets at a discounted or a free rate as long as they have their student ID. However, if accessing the city's bus line is inaccessible for you, you can look up what's called a paratransit service. This may mean that you don't get the rides for free, but the bus will pick you up at your house or dorm or wherever you are and drop you off exactly where you need to go. However, those rides have to be scheduled in advance and you are penalized if you cancel rides. Another tip that I have is to stay organized. I have an academic planner for the year of 2024, and this allows me to write out all of my assignments and make sure that I'm keeping track of everything and turning them in on time. You can usually find these at any type of store, Walmart, Target, Amazon, or an office supply store. I also picked out some fun school supplies. This can look like pastel colored highlighters or pretty colored pencils, or a big whiteboard that will help you keep track of your due dates. The last tip I want to talk about is mindset. I know everybody goes on about positive mindset, but what does this actually mean for a disabled college student? When we think about wellness, we don't want to think about it as one-dimensional, just physical. We want to think about it as multi-dimensional. A good resource to learn more about this would be looking up 7 Dimensions of Wellness model. In this model, it talks about the different dimensions of wellness that contribute to an overall wellness. You can evaluate which areas of your life you may be lacking and which areas you're doing really great at. As a disabled college student, part of a positive mindset is being confident in yourself, especially if you're using your mobility aids. I know when I started using my wheelchair, I was worried everybody was staring at me, and for the most part, they were. I think part of the reason why was because I looked miserable in my chair. I looked so self-conscious and I purposely made myself smaller so that people wouldn't notice me. I think that this can be rooted in shame or even internalized ableism, but as you become more confident in yourself, your capabilities, and your mobility aids, your confidence will shine through. Don't get too caught up on trying to make friends. Sometimes the best friends in life are the ones that come into your life when you least expect it. And if you seem to really be struggling with the life change of going to college or going to high school, reach out to a mental health professional. Oftentimes, colleges will have mental health resources that you can use for free or discounted rate on your college campus. However, I always recommend that people with disabilities or lifelong issues should go to a long-term therapist. This way, you can build a relationship and track your progress over a period of time instead of just a few free visits. Although some people may say that academic accommodations may put others at an unfair advantage, this simply isn't true. Let's take a look at a picture that explains equity versus equality. When we're talking about equality, you can see by the picture on the left, everybody got the same accommodation, one wooden block. However, the person in the purple shirt still can't access the view. This means that they may need more accommodation in order for it to be equitable. With equity, everybody has the same access. However, some people may need more accommodations to get that equal access. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a like, subscribe, and even comment down below about what are you looking forward to this school year, or what did you resonate from with this video. If you'd like to connect with me on my other social media platforms, I have them linked down below as well as on the screen. And with that being said, have a good spring semester. Bye guys!